So please all mute your microphone, switch off your camera once the presentation is going on. We'll start with a short poll in Forms. And in the meantime, if you look at your screen, at the MS Teams screen, on top you see a symbol Forms. And this functionality will be used soon for some questions and also some at the end in order to have this a bit more interactive. We only have an hour. I can understand, I can imagine there's reactions, responses, questions. We'll collect them and come back on it if need be. So during the presentations, if you really feel the need, you can raise your hand or post your question in the chat. And as you understood, Esther will check the chat because I cannot do two things at the same time. So the time is now so it's 2 minutes past. So how many attendees do we have right now, Esther?
Yes, I think we can start. We have about 30 people. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, 30 is great. Well, you noticed it has taken a bit of time before the seminar really took place. We tried to organize it before the summer, and it didn't work with the all the duties and obligations in the primary process with the classes and finalizing the school year. So we said, well, let's postpone it till after the summer. And well, okay, the start of the school year was not a good moment. So here we are today. And I'm really glad that we have the seminar now where we can present the new materials. And we'll have a presentation from the side of Chernav, Liliana. Great to see you. And I noticed Dragos was on screen. So Dragos, you're back from sailing. I noticed. I hope you had a good time. After that, we'll have an explanation about the e-learning material on the one hand by Anton from Steyr up Austria and partly by Minne from STC Group, and Jan Henk will be at the back end available. And at the end, there's well, room for the poll and for some questions. Very shortly, from a bird's perspective, the project has been initiated by the EU directive. A lot of work done by Edina to make sure that the directive would see the light. And well, the directive gave an obligation to all the institutions. So we have, well, the project has been defined a couple of years ago, and now we can look back on 3.5 years of execution of the project. I'm glad that we had the end conference before the summer. I think it really was successful. There was a good vibe. Well, competing would be a success as we defined before when we have been able to help the implementation of the EU directive, generate more harmonized lesson material, make e-learning material available, and contribute to a more level playing field. That's an indirect effect, of course. But well, the deliverables foreseen, well, mainly on two aspects: content on the one hand, enabling implementation of competence-based training and education, and on the other hand, the audit system. Well, the audit system has been delivered by Maritiem Academie Harlingen. So Arjen and Jörn have done really a great job on that. Thanks once more. And on the first item, Chernav has done a lot of work and leadership. So I'm grateful once more. So please go to the forms icon on your Teams page. And Esther, if the two first questions are present, I think they will be dealt with in a row. So first the one and then the other.
Yes, the poll should be visible in the middle of your screen now.
Yeah, and the thing is, I can only see my own presentation. I don't have two screens, but I'm gonna try to see if it works on my phone. And Otherwise, Esther, can you share
Yes,
the results? See what comes in the middle.
I will read them. The question of today is, what do you expect from the new European competence-based teaching materials? And people are already responding to this question. They are telling me innovative and fresh, inland industry, high sea. So these are the first answers that are coming in.
And on my phone, I see a question from Sander Wibbels. How many reactions can be shared? Is it one answer or more?
No, you can answer, add more answers than just one.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Inland shipping material, actual, influence, complete, experts. So these are the expectations that you have from the teaching materials, some of you.
Yeah. So I think everybody had the opportunity to type some answers. So can we swap to the second question?
Yeah, sure.
Please.
And our second question to you is, what would be the best outcome of today's seminar be for you? So we're wondering what you're thinking about today's seminar and what you expect to gain from it today. People are still typing in their reactions.
Mm-hmm. And in the meantime, let me say that I'm really pleased that I see such a diversity, a variety of attendance from across Europe. So it's great. Thank you.
People are expecting to find future developments, an overview, insight. It's also possible to share your responses via the chat if that's easier for you. But we're looking for your expectations of today's seminar and what would be the best outcome of today's seminar for you.
Yeah, I think considering the time that everybody has been able to share its first thought, and well, like Esther said, a second or third thought can always be shared in the chat. So if I share an overview of the project, we've been working on a blended learning environment based on ILIAS, and it has been shaped and tweaked for our purpose. There's European training record book, a harmonized training record book. On operational level, it's really new for Europe. It's published in English. It has been translated in French, thanks to Kim and Roland. And currently it's on the way to have a Dutch issue, on both levels. There's 3 videos for promotional purposes. There's 14 course manuals. So all competence areas and levels are covered. There is an extensive course manual for setting up trainers to help schools to set up and to energize colleagues and to inspire them. And as an add-on for the project, we've been working on a question pool, so multiple choice questions for all competences, and there's additional e-learning material, so quizzes and modules for several competence areas. So this is an overview. I don't want to take too much of your time. I would really like to give the floor to Chernoff, to Liliana. This will come back later, the 2 places where you can find the materials. But currently I would like to stop sharing and give Liliana the floor. Thank you very much. So I'll stop sharing. Excuse me, I'll stop sharing.
Yeah, it's done, Jan.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, perfect. Thank you, Mina.
Hello, everybody. My name is Liliana Martes. I represent Seronav, the Maritime Training Center in Constanța, Romania, and I am one of the team that worked on Work Package 3 in this competing project and helped to develop all the course books within this project. Okay, thank you, Jan, for your wonderful introduction, and I want to thank all the participants for attending this online seminar. Now I will start sharing my presentation in a minute. Okay, so I'm going to talk a little bit about the course manuals, what the structure of these course manuals is, and where you can find them, and also about the European Training Record Book. During the previous seminar, online seminar, I talked about its structure. Now I would like to add some more things. What I want to tell you is that all these course manuals, including the Train the Trainer course manual, were meant and were elaborated in order to help inland navigation education and training institutes and we, all the teaching staff, to better and harmonize the education system and all the training courses. Now, this is a glimpse of all the courses that we have developed during this project. As you can see above the line, all the operational level courses, the 7 courses, and down below the line, there are the management level courses. There is a course for navigation, operation of the craft, cargo handling, marine engineering, maintenance and repair, communication, health and safety and environmental protection. All of them are according to competencies and requirements in the directive and scheme. All these course manuals are accompanied by a Train the Trainer course manual, which gives you the principles and how to teach. There is a lot of material there. You can use it and share, add or delete according to your needs. These courses are can be found on EDINA website and also on Ilias, yes, on Ines Danube site, but for the moment, I'd like to tell you that the main objective of the Train the Trainer course manual, which not exactly teaches you, but shows you how to organize or reminds you how to organize and deliver in an interactive course or an interactive training. And its main objective is to promote the knowledge, abilities, competencies, and attitudes towards the ideal trainer, meaning this ideal trainer should possess training awareness, what it is about. This is a process of identifying training needs, to understand the end results of the training and the benefits that this training can bring to the trainee. Also, training skills related to the process of adult learning, psychology of learning, course design, methodology of teaching techniques, assessment of trainees, and normally evaluation of the course. And last but not least, managerial skills and aptitudes related to planning, organizing, leadership, interpersonal relationships, and communication skills. Everything you can read in this Train the Trainer manual, so I'll go on. And as I told you before, you can find all the teaching materials, all the course books on EDINA website. For example, we'll go to this website and show you where you can find in Inland Navigation e-learning under New European Competence-Based Teaching Materials. Here they are, all the course manuals, sorry, navigation, operation of the craft, and so on and so forth, both for operational level and the management level. And down, course manual, train the trainer. The structure of the course manuals, for example, let's take health and safety. The structure, I want to tell you that of all the manuals is the same, meaning they include a foreword, general information referring to the course curriculum and general requirements. Also then the instructor manual with model template for a lesson plan, background materials, practical training, classroom facilities and education tools, examination and assessment, regulation and certification, then lesson materials. These are all the competencies and sub-competencies presented, and I'm not going to share this to you. You can read and share your opinion about this. All I want to tell you that all competencies according to directive are present here, and we shared the main ideas that and the main objectives, let's say, that the trainer should accomplish, and the information that the trainer should deliver to the trainees in order to follow them. Oh, sorry. Now, sorry for the background, but we are...
This was unplanned.
Yes, indeed, it was unplanned. I'm very, very sorry, but I can't do anything. Also, there are annexes. We have also, sorry, after the lesson materials, we have the effect of the human element on sustainable shipping. This is the same in all course manuals. And then there is a reference to European qualification framework according to EQF levels, and annexes. The first annex refers to reference documents for each type, for each course, corresponding to each course. Annex 2 have some examples of case studies, practical scenarios, and exercises. And as you see, there are only several examples, some practical scenarios. And Annex 3, there is a draft examination model for each competence according to the directive. Now, going back, these course manuals and also the Train the Trainer manual can be found on Inland Navigation e-learning 2. This is the INES Inland Navigation e-learning system. And as you see, there are beautiful pictograms here for navigation. You can click on operational level, and here you have the course manual again. Yes, this is the same course manual that can be found on EDINA. And also we have here the training record book, which was elaborated for both operational and management level, and we can be used online. All these course books can be used online, or if you want, you can print them down and deliver them in hard copy for your trainees. The European Training Record Book was something went wrong. It's okay, never mind. The European Training Record Book, I want to remind you, that consists of three sections. Section 1, introduction, guidance for the candidate, for the both one, and so on and so forth. I'm not going to tell you about this because I explained this during the previous online seminar. You can find here everything that you need. It can be used by both the trainee and the trainer or the assessor on board the ship. all.
Excuse me,
Yeah.
Liliana, for interrupting. It seems that the screen is frozen. It's still on the same page. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I see responses or hints from the chat box as well. So I don't know if you were planning to skip to other pages, but
I don't know what happened. What do you see the Ines website? What do you see here?
Liliana, we can see just only the first page on the official website of EDINA.
Oh, I don't know what happened. I'm very, very sorry. I don't know what happened. But
Perhaps you can stop sharing and share again.
Yeah, I'll do this.
Yes, we can see it.
Yeah.
perfect.
So we can see it. Yeah.
Now you can see the Ines navigation e-learning system, yes, with the both with the 2 European training record books. Okay, and okay. Sorry. Okay. Now, I don't know what went wrong. Maybe I went wrong with these presentations. Okay, sorry. To put it in a nutshell, what is most important is that all the course books are in English. For the moment, there are no plans to be translated into other languages, but of course, each institution can translate in its own language if needed. And as Jan already stated, the European Training Record Book has been, it is in English and successfully has been translated into French and at the end of October, as I heard, in Dutch, and maybe it will be translated in other languages. There is a lot to tell about these course books and the European Training Record Book. I'll stop here and you can check them and read them and study them on these 2 websites. And any questions that you need to ask, please feel free and do it. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Liliana. I can imagine there's immediate questions for now. If so, you can come forward. And if you prefer to state questions at a later stage, that's also very welcome. We'll share the presentations, as I wrote in the chat box.
Yeah.
The 2 places where the deliverables can be found will be shown and included in the presentation. I don't see any imminent questions, so then I would like to give the floor to Anton and Minne.
Yes.
It's oh, excuse me, I see 2 questions. One from Gerike. I have trouble logging in on the platform. We'll come back on that later. That's from Sander. Lesson materials as referred to in the course manual as reference. Have presentations and readers also been prepared under competing? Sander, please can you come forward to explain your question a little bit more, if possible? You're muted, Sander, I think. I cannot hear you. No sound.
So things go wrong. Is this okay?
Yep. Yes, we can understand you.
Okay, good.
Please, come forward.
Well, good morning, everyone. The question I do have is that the manual, it is referred to as course manual. In the course manual, reference is made to lesson material. But lesson material, in the word of the competing program, is that only the online material that is available? Or is there also PowerPoint presentation and readers available in relation to the skills and knowledge requirements under the harmonized system.
Well, yeah. Would you like to answer, Liliana, or shall I answer it?
You may answer, and
Yeah, okay.
if necessary, I can add.
Yeah, okay. So Sander, there's references, as you see. Later on in this seminar, we'll indicate where learning modules are to be found. There's also there's another source of content that's integrated reports, but I can inform you about that later on.
Please, thank you very much.
Yeah, okay. Thank you for your time. So back to Anton and Minne, please.
There's one more question from.
Oh, sorry. I see inderdaad Ferenc. Is there any review of current content planned? Some parts are purely important from high sea, completely not relevant on inland waterways. That's a strong statement. We have taken a lot of time to tweak the content and make it relevant to inland waterways. And of course, we realized that maybe we missed something here and there, but we try to be as complete as possible. And review of the content, so maintenance on the content of the content is an issue which we have foreseen. The thing is, there will be a follow-up project of competing, but as EDINA, we have to discuss about how to maintain the content and make sure that it will remain up to date. So please, Liliana.
Yes, what I want to add is that all course books are guidelines. The important topics are presented. Each trainer can add information according to their needs, according to the trainee needs, to their institution needs. Yeah. And of course, these course books are subject to review and more explanations and so on.
Yeah, thank you. And to conclude, because Ferenc, I see your hint, launching live raft. So it could be that here and there a term from the seafarer's term has slipped through, but I strongly hope that's highly incidental. And thank you for your comment. Okay, once more, and now finally back to Minne and Anton, please.
Yes, thank you. Let me share my screen also. So, is it visible for everyone?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. My name is Minne van Eken, and within the competing project, I was part of the blended learning team, consisting of Anton Edmeijer and Jan-Henk Braam. My task was to create the platform with the e-learning materials and the question pools. And I would like to show you where to find and how to use this material. First, I will show you where and how to register for an account. And Jan-Henk will monitor and confirm these registrations. Then I will show you where to log in and find the material. And finally, I will briefly show you some examples from the e-learning and the question pools we created. And after that, Anton will show you some usability tips and tell about working with students. So let's start. Is the site visible for everyone?
Yes.
Okay. So we also start at the EDINA site, and there you've got the inlet navigation e-learning button to click. So we created the members of EDINA part over here to register for access. Click on that and you'll come over here. So registered users can log in over here, but first of all, you have to create a new account. So create a username with a password. This password has to have at least 10 characters, and allowed characters are over here. So fill it in with your name, your last name, and also important for us is your institution and department. That's how we can monitor the institutions. And as said, Jan Henk will monitor these registration and confirm them. So after you're done, you can accept over here and press the register button. After that is done, you will receive an email that it's finally accepted. You can log in over here and look at the examples we created. You already saw it earlier. We created the 7 competences, all containing of operation and management level. You can click on one of both. Let's pick health and safety for this. And let's get this category. So we've got, in this example, we've got 6 learning resources, and every resource has its own test, its own evaluation. So let me show you how it looks like. So you can scroll through the content, watch the video, and that's the final. And after that, you can make the course. So let's try this. I will briefly go through. And this one is white. Oh yeah, this is mobile. So, and then I finished the test. After this, I made it earlier on, but over here you can see what you've done. And over here you've got the detailed resources. So what was the question? Was it right or wrong? You can return to the question. What did I answer and what was wrong? So this way you can go through them all. So this was briefly my part. I think Anton will go on discussing some usabilities within this.
Yeah, thank you, Minna.
Thank you.
First of all, good morning from Steyr, Upper Austria. So the next part, I will give you some tips to work with a platform, especially then in combination with your students. Let me stop this once more because I shared my administration window. That's not the right one. I want to share that view from the normal user. So the first thing is when you found something interesting and you want to share it with your students, please do not send them the link from the top of the page, which is the normal URL. This only works when users are logged in. So at the bottom of a page, you always find this permanent link. And once you, for example, create a link list with quizzes or topics your students have to study, please create this with this permanent link. That's the one when your students click on this link, they will refer to the login page, and after the login page, they are directly referred to that special category or to that special learning object. That's the first tip to work with the platform. The other one is when you find the menu on the left side, you always have this big Edina button at the bottom where you find back to the overall navigation section. But you also have, as a user, you have a dashboard. And when you first land on your dashboard, you can see this explanation about these favorites. And that's a very useful thing. For example, if you figure out that you currently work on a specific topic, let's say it's this, you're in navigation operational level with your students for the next term or for the next few weeks. So you know that you will often refer to this category. You have the chance to add this to your favorites, and that's it's this learning module you can put on your favorite side, or you can also, for example, make the whole category add to your favorites, and then directly after you log in, you find your favorites, and you can jump to these specific learning modules directly for the next weeks. And once you're finished with this, you can remove it and prepare the section for the next things to learn or to prepare for you as teachers there. You always have also on the dashboard these recommended content, which is Edina, that will also be found by your students when they first log in, and everything else is clear for the startup at this point. The next thing you probably want to have is that you want to have an overview about the results of your students. So we did not have any course configuration because we don't want it to avoid that you have the work to include the students from your classes again, to create groups or something and find the learning progress there, because I assume you all have learning management systems where you have the data. So for that purpose, I suggest that you let the students print out these results. So now I need to go to one of my tests that I already done here. I think it was this one. So I already did this management, and you see I also wasn't very successful in this case. So I suggest that when you want your students to hand in some kind of evidence that they did the test, they can print this page and send it to you or show it to you, for example. Then in this way you can control if your students have done the task here. But in general, the philosophy of this platform is more self-learning and self-evaluation. That's how we named it in the title. And it's more self-control that students can check if they got the right answers or if they already have enough competence for assessment later on, for example. The results for the tests, you might have seen it here. We decided to have that it's necessary that you have 70% reached, that you have the result passed. Everything below 70% is failed here. That was the decision of the consortium for this multiple choice, because 50% would be also something you get just by guessing. That's why we changed this to 70%. That's the main functionality here for the quizzes. And the last thing I want to suggest or to explain is how can you get the accounts for students. We suggest that you create a list and send this to Jan Henk. Jan Henk, please correct me if I'm wrong. But instead that every student goes through the registration process and that Jan Henk has to check every student and the field, probably in the institution field, everyone's different. Some of them use abbreviations, some of them not. So the suggestion here is that you create a list for your students with first name, last name, the mail, and the institution, and one field for male or female, and send this to Jan Henk, and then we can generate the accounts in the background this would be the most effective way in that way to get the accounts for your students. But after then, they can log in and they have the same functionality than you have. Yeah, so this was in a very short way also my presentations or my tips for the platform. If you have questions, if you already failed in some of the features, so please ask and let me know.
Thank you, Anton. I'm very sorry that you failed the test. It's a disappointment. I have to deal with it. I have to cope with it. But we'll work on it.
Will I get some specific tutoring from you?
Oh no, that would never not be a very good idea. I could maybe teach you how to conceive some jokes, but that's not the purpose, I think. And now coming back to the chat, if I may, a suggestion made by Ferenc Saras, and I believe you're from Viking. So I'm really glad that you've observed the deliverables, and I'm really pleased to read that you are willing to provide feedback in the future if we would ask it, and we really want to take the offer. If you could read through it, and if you see there's some items which are not appropriate, please come forward. And well, we have had several layers of quality assurance, but apparently here and there we missed something. It's I'm not pleased to confirm it, but if so, it's the case. We have to deal with it as consortium. So please, Anton.
Yes, that brings me to one question of functionality we were always talking about by creating this kind of community now on the platform. So one idea, and this would be a question to the participants if they're interested, that we create a group where only teachers have access to, and where we collect the suggestions in form of a simple forum, so that everyone is able to tell us mistakes or things we didn't consider, or suggestions for improvement within a simple forum that we share directly on the INES portal, for example.
Yeah, thank you. I think it would be a good idea, but then we would keep out Captain Saras because he's not a teacher. So we have to think how to build this community of practice, but I think it would really have added value if we collect reflections. We'll come back on it. And so I see that actually a nautical instructor I see from Ferenc. That's perfect. That's perfect. So thank you. So Anton, this was your share, and I believe then we have some takeaways from Jan Henk, or was I misinformed?
Well, maybe you were misinformed, Jan, but I can at least introduce myself. My name is Jan Henk Braam. Part of my job is the office management of EDINA. And as we decided earlier, all the material is under the umbrella of EDINA. So every request for an account to the e-learning material is coming in, at my computer. And I will give someone an account. That's my role in this part. And perhaps I can say what Ferenc Saras was asking for, if there are any suggestions to improve something. An email is also always possible. Send just an email to EDINA, and I will receive it, and we can get in touch with each other. Thank you, Jan.
Yeah, perfect. We'll share the presentations afterwards to all attendants, and then we'll include this remark as well. So the idea of collecting all the observations. And so here once more on screen, the two sites where you can find the material. The competing was a dedicated website. The competing website is dedicated for the project. It will be on air for some time, but the primary spot will be the EDINA website. So that's why I put it on top of the list. So this is what Minne explained. So if there are no imminent questions, I'd like to go to the poll again and ask everybody to fill in the two questions which are now on the table. So what could be possible?
We have
Yes,
two
please,
extra questions for you all. And the first one is, what could be possible hiccups in applying and using the new materials in your organization? We're quite curious because maybe we can still improve or help you with these hiccups. So please share them with us via the poll. If it's correct, you should be seeing the poll now, and we're curious about the hiccups that you might experience with introducing the new materials. Translation is one. I can very well imagine that. We can already let you know that the European Training Record Book, as Liliana just mentioned, is being translated at this moment into French and Dutch at least. Copyrights, login problems. Well, Jan Henk is here. He just introduced himself and he maybe help you with the login problems, copyright. So are we collecting these hiccups and we will look into them?
Yeah, and excuse me. I think it's good to mention that a login is for EDINA members. So there will be full access for all EDINA members. I don't think we mentioned that already.
That's for the e-learning part is only accessible with a login and an EDINA membership. The course manuals, however, the European Training Record Book and the videos for promotions, they're all publicly available via the website of EDINA, Competing, and also via the INES platform.
Yeah, thank you very much, Esther.
Well, thanks for all your replies so far. I think we can continue with our poll because we want your tips and advice. What our project still could do by helping you with this. So I'm starting a second poll, and we're curious, what are your ideas, advice, tips on how we can help you with these possible hiccups? There are no ideas yet shared yet. The poll visible for everyone, with some ideas what Competing still could do to help you with the hiccups that you might experience. A follow-up seminar, official translations, manual for RiverSpeak. Access. Well, thank you for your advice and tips. Please continue to add them because we're quite curious and still available and willing to help you with this. So please inform us about this, and also afterwards, after the seminar has ended, if you have anything to share with us, remarks on the course manuals or ideas, please send us an email. We have a general email address at competing@stdc-stripe-r.nl, but we will also share a follow-up mail with this email address. Thank you.
Excuse me, Esther, could you please share the results of this poll?
Yeah, of
because
course.
I see one remark which is a bit cryptic to me: competence. So I'm a bit curious what is meant by competence. So maybe the one who wrote it could enlighten it a bit to me. So I'll stop sharing. And if you could.
Yeah, there's a reply via chat.
I see competence versus knowledge. I see Toby, and competence versus knowledge is so. What is the competence element, and what is the knowledge element? Is it knowledge and skills versus? How does it relate to competence? Is that what you mean? And I see Jan Henk responding, but I cannot lip read. I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm talking to my colleague. Jan.
I noticed.
Can you hear me, Jan?
Yes, for sure. Loud and clear. Harlingen is airborne.
Yeah, what I mean with competence, a lot of competence, you have to know some knowledge before you can bring up the competence on deck, for example. And that is a question that I have to the competence of Cessny. You have skills and you have knowledge. And a lot of skills, you need some knowledge. And that is the question I have. How can I get some knowledge before I can ask the skills of my students?
I understand it. There's column 1 knowledge of different types of knots. For instance, a second column is about skills. So the ability to use a certain kind of knot. So your question, how can I gain knowledge? I think requires explanation, or examples, or demos, or short videos. That would be my suggestion, but I'm not an educational specialist. I'm just a project manager. So maybe Liliana, you can, also comment on this, please.
Yes, of course. Thank you. The knowledge is delivered by the trainer. Yes. And this knowledge is normally pure theoretical. We have to blend the theoretical issues with demonstrations and practical activities to put all the knowledge, put it into practice, make our trainees do things in order to acquire skills, first of all, because competence is something more. To become competent means that you know everything from theory to practice, everything. I don't know if I have answered you. If not, please tell me more and I can explain. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Liliana. And well, like I said before, well, in this case, Toby, if there's additional questions or follow-up questions, yeah, please come forward and we'll deal with it. It's so we saw the results in the poll. So it's yeah, we'll come back with suggestions on yeah, how to give follow-up to this to the poll. So there is 5 minutes left, in theory and in practice, for as I see Ferenc's remark, competence must be gradually built up, and I totally agree with that. It's the learning curve. It requires different stadia of observing, trying themselves. So yeah, what we see is theoretical explanations, and there's once in a while, well, there's the simulator time. Well, there's practice on board, and over time, competence are built. I see a hand risen by Richard. Yeah, Richard, how are you doing? Back from Africa.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I have a question indeed. What I understood from the explanation on the access to, let's say, the INES platform and also the theory and quizzes and so on, also made available to students. I think that's at least how I understood it. It's quite interesting. Makes it feasible to also access the information remotely. My question is that the internet coverage along internet waterways is not, well, it's far from perfect, so to say. We also know that quite a lot of students follow quite a practical route, so they occasionally come to school and spend more time on the vessel itself. Is there a way, or is it tested, that these students can access the information remotely wherever they are and whatever the internet coverage is, or do they need a solid internet connection to access the material?
Well, there's several aspects. On the one, I'm sorry. As Liliana explained, the training record book, so the handbook for instructing and guiding students on board when they are building up their practice, whether it's operational level or management level. This is a PDF. This is an adaptable PDF document, so it can be used on board. That's one aspect. Being online, connectivity, yeah, that's really an issue. So luckily Starlink is working on that, but it really is an issue. So yeah, maybe Anton, you have another perspective on this, or yeah, how to approach INES when you're in the black hole.
Yeah, I understand. I think the point is that no one's dropped out that way, and when the connection is interrupted, you can continue from the place where you start, where the connection broke up. So that's the point. I think it would be extremely critical if it's like an exam and it's mandatory to do it. I think the situations are not considered here. I just can mention that the transfer of data is not very high, so it's mainly text and picture information. Where you really run into troubles is by the YouTube videos. That's exactly the point. When content should be attractive, then it's kind of video, and then you need these much higher bandwidth. They are not streamed from the INES server. They are referred directly to YouTube, and there is these adoption to the bandwidth. But in general, I can assume that that's really the problem when it's black. On the other hand, the transfer from one text page to the next is not that much, but when there is no connection, yes. We can think, I know that there was once the option of having offline modules, which we skipped because we thought that's already not necessary, but probably within the next project to consider this once more again, yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I think for the continuation for competing, maybe it's not really an issue, but I think it's good to perhaps research whether this is an issue or not, because yeah, I think that a lot of young students, they access the information when they are actually on board of the vessel, and it would be a shame if they won't have access to the relevant study materials when they are not working on the vessel and in their spare time actually trying to learn for exams and so on.
Yes, that was really the philosophy to support them at that point, and would be a pity not to have it, yeah.
Yes, and please, I see Sander's questions and suggestion. Suggestion from Sander or question: can e-learnings be pre-downloaded? That's yeah, that's so like readers and PowerPoint presentations. Can they be
I think
downloaded?
the learner modules we did, there is also a print functionality. So they can create their own print, but that's really some workaround, because the philosophy in this online is being up to date, having access to one source instead of having PDFs that are downloaded. That's kind of the philosophy and the more modern approach. But in that case, when someone knows that is in one of these areas, they can have it printed as their own PDFs and download.
Yeah. So the principal choice for working in the cloud means being dependent on connectivity, and if connectivity
yes.
is uncertain, then but yeah. So luckily there's initiatives on working on the connectivity, but we're not there yet.
Daniel, if you allow me for one more question, Jan, if
yes,
time's
please.
allowed,
Yeah.
and if someone else is not, doesn't have any question. How about next steps, Jan? You mentioned the continuation of competing. What will it focus on?
The next project, it will focus on well, the start will be the repository as built in competing. More content will be developed, more diverse content, some multimedia content. Certain topics will be dealt with, like cybersecurity, a module including a gaming element. That's one item, that's one side. And the other side is that we're going to work on a proof of concept, see if we can connect the repository, which is in Ilias, if we can connect it to certain learning management systems at the schools. So on the one hand Moodle, on the other hand New Spring. So we're going to use APIs and LTIs to work on the exchange function, so to speak, enabling that that modules can be used from other schools, or that we can make steps towards personalizing education. So that's in short is the summary, and I will include a summary in the takeaway email which we share afterwards. We'll have a kickoff meeting in Craiova early November, so we're preparing that. So one of the partners is University of Craiova. I don't know if Adrian is on board. Adrian or Gabriel? Was it? I haven't seen. But so the consortium constitutes of Chernoff, well, the University of Steyr, the school in Duisburg, Maritime Academie Harlingen, of course, and well, so that's a follow-up consortium. I will report about that for those who are interested. So I think, considering the time, we have to conclude, knowing or assuming people have other obligations as well. So I'm really glad that you've stayed tuned for over an hour, and we'll take, we'll pick up all the suggestions and questions, and come back on it. So thank you very much for your time, and we'll be in contact if need be. Okay, have a nice day. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Bye.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
If Garrick is still in the meeting, please send us the problems that you have with the login. I've seen there are several accounts requested. Please send us the data that you try to log in, not the password, but the username, and also the message that you receive, that we can check what's wrong with your login.
I just sent her a mail, Anton.
Oh yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I already sent an email to Henk-Jan as well. Thank you.
Okay, thank
I
you.
just gave a reply on that email, so please try.
Okay.
Sorry that I was a bit annoying about it. But
I can imagine. It's always annoying.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you. I'm going to try if this works.
Yeah, perfect. We're waiting. Heart beating.
Yeah, still busy. To start up the site again. Let's have a look.
So, Andries, do you also have a particular question? Andries?
I'm in.
You're in.
Yes, I'm in.
Time for celebration.
At
Bubbles and cake.
least one goal accomplished today.
Yes.
Yeah.
One glad customer.
Very good. Thank you.
Good to hear, Kirike.